Well, it looks like we're here. So welcome everyone. This is our lab number 3 for the Akashic Records course. And today we're going to go into some things that are probably new for most of you, not all of you, because David's been around here for a while. So just to give you an overview, in the last class, we went into a lot more deeply into being in the right place for getting the most from going into the records. And I would think by now you should be pretty acclimated to all of that. Although this is with the lab, this is a good time to ask questions too. So I'll give you an opportunity in a moment for that. Today we're going to take it all a step further with a new deck and a focus on the many things that you can do with 3-card readings because they're so simple and flexible. And I'm going to show you a whole bunch of different options that you can use. I think one of the things I really love about the oracles and the tarot is it's creative. Although we have ideas of ways to do things, nothing is set in stone. And there are so many things that you can do. To me, it's just a continuous source of, well, inspiration. It's mystical. It's magical. It's so insightful, and it's fun. So we're going to be focusing mostly today on the mystical shaman, and I'm going to be introducing the good tarot. So that's where we're going in general. And just to give you an opportunity also, does anyone have any questions about getting into the Akashic Records, anything related to that? We won't actually be going into the records, I don't think, today, unless who knows who knows what's going to happen, but probably not. Anything standing out for you? Yes, Lucia, hi.
Hi. So actually, I go into the Akashic Records, but very often I don't get information, or it's not clear. And I wonder, and I mean, and now it's been, and then it depends, because there are times when I have visions that are so clear that I could touch them. And then there are times that I ask questions and I don't get any answers. And I wonder, and I don't know why. And so I wonder what I can do to improve that, because now this has been for quite a long time.
What, by quite a long time? What, I mean, what do you mean?
Because I've been trying to get into the Akashic Records for a long time. It's like it started probably in 2020.
Yeah. Well, one suggestion, and we could even look at it a little bit today, is to use an oracle reading to ask why. And this is one of the things about having these different tools that you can use together, is that you can get insights. Would you like to do that? Because we will be doing demonstrations, and that'll be, I think the great thing is that this is also very practical. All of these tools are very practical in a highly spiritual way. Let's just see what happens with that. We'll look into that. And thank you for mentioning it. Anyone else? Anything? Any questions about that?
Well, I'm just wondering if you could be there, but just experience them in a different way.
So well, that's one possibility.
You don't actually know that you're there because you're not sure how to interpret whatever is your sense.
Right. And maybe we can get more insights on that for her, and then just see where that takes us.
I actually think I know that I'm there, because I kind of feel, the Akashic Records. And for me, it's like being inside this white energy, and it's also a pleasant feeling. It wasn't pleasant at the beginning when I before, because I had all sorts of pain inside the records. But yeah, but I don't know. But it's really the questions that I ask the questions and I wait for answers. But
yeah, well,
and
let's do a reading and see where that takes us,
Yeah.
because there are many different things, and I think Deborah's right. There are suggestions, and we may go there too, to offering some other suggestions too. I think I'd like to start with a reading, because a lot of times you can pinpoint things that you never would have thought of before with a reading. So we can get to that. Okay, anyone
Jane,
else?
how do you choose like which tarot or oracle set to use for a reading?
That's a good question. A lot of times it's practical, like well, like if you want to know what might be something good to explore in the records, you might want to just go to the Akashic Tarot, and because it's kind of a doorway to the records, and see what you get from that. What I tend to do most generally is I just use whatever I intuit. In other words, what sounds good to use. And I think the more I just kind of let myself be in a flow with it like that, and do whatever just seems right in the moment, the better I seem to do. One thing, also, I'll just mention it now because I think it is really helpful. It is helpful having just a general way to ask yourself simple questions, like, well, I'm holding the Akashic Tarot now. Is this the right deck for me to use in this reading? I'm wondering. One of the things that we have talked about already that you can do is body testing. Is it right? If it's right, yes, you'll go towards it. If it's wrong, you go away from it. You kind of can feel that. Like, do I want to use the teddy bear tarot, to go into the records? Just notice which way your body goes now. I mean, it just as a question. And you might not know what the teddy bear tarot is, but the idea is just something that's kind of lightweight and maybe doesn't have a lot of real deep meaning. Is that what you really want to do? Just ask yourself and see. And you just let yourself, like you're moving backward or forward from the base of your spine, assuming you're sitting. Another way of doing it that I've mentioned, and Colette Baron-Reid does this, she mentions it, is you ask yourself a question, and or you could just say, well, I'm thinking of this, and I wonder how this feels to use. Is this the right one? And if it is, it's kind of, this is kind of like truth comes into your body, like you can feel it in your body. And if you don't feel anything, it means nothing. It means no. You can just kind of feel like, if I say, well, the way to access your truth is looking into your heart. How does that feel to you? And when I say that, I can feel energy in my body. If the way to access your intuition is to ask someone else what's right for you. I don't feel anything. It's like, well, maybe not. and I guess technically you could maybe even just feel it in your heart. Your heart knows, which is why we continuously go back to the heart too. But I think that just that I get that bodily sensation, kind of like something is settling, like that idea is settling in, or it doesn't. If nothing happens, then. So is that helpful? Multiple choice.
Can I say something, Jane? Just wanted
yes.
to
yeah. No, this is Melanie. Just if people can't tell. Go ahead,
Jane. No, I just wanted to say one of the things I do as well is pendulum.
Yeah.
Which I find I have a really lovely pendulum, really lovely weighted.
Yeah, I love them too. I have
gold.
them in my drawer here. I use these little
Yeah,
shorties.
yeah. And I mean, I, I, um, I really like the pendulum. I find it really
Hmm.
good, just to
Yeah.
hold it over the
Hmm.
deck. And like you
Yeah.
say, ask the question, is this the right one for me today? Or,
Hmm.
and obviously you've got to do the setup in the beginning of what's yes, what's no, what's
Right.
maybe.
You need to with a pendulum, and that's why I don't mention it particularly in the course because it's something you have to develop a skill with.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I think is completely worth it. I love pendulums and
Yeah,
use them
yeah, me
quite a bit.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
Yeah. So anyone, if you use a pendulum, that's a good way to test. And if you don't, it is worth learning. And I'm certain you can find all kinds of information about how to do it on the internet. It's not that hard. I think with all of these things, it's really about practicing it because as you practice, you become more skilled at it. Even just the body, testing with body
Yeah.
testing. I think as you do it more, it just becomes more natural or almost second nature. Kind of like driving a car. But the first time you get into the car, it's not going to be that easy. So
That's true.
practice with all of this, whatever it is really valuable. Thank you, Melanie. Anybody else? I do think from just this little discussion that it is good to, in your own mind, have a way that you can test things like this, because then it does make it easier to move forward with all kinds of things. So, yeah, good. Okay. Okay, so the mystical shaman we've been using quite a bit, and I have the Good Tarot right here. The Good Tarot, I love it myself. There are a number of tarot decks that I really like. Um, I think maybe I'm going to put on my other camera just for a moment to kind of show you. How many people are familiar with the Good Tarot, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Some, mostly, most people, I guess. Well, anyhow, I'm just going to show you for those who are not. And so I'm going to just pull a few of these cards. There's the King of Earth. Earth would be pentacles, water would be cups, and there's another water card. So here are a few of the cards. And one thing about them is that they have actually the same artist design or drew these as the mystical shaman. So here's a mystical shaman card. And another thing that I really love doing is combining tarot and oracle or two different decks. In this case, if we're working with these two decks, I might be tempted to use the mystical shaman for the central focus of the reading. And when I use 3-card readings, I generally, not always, but very often start with a central focus. In fact, for most readings, rather than just having like 5 cards and all of them mean something. Like, I first want to know what is the main idea here that I'm looking at. So say the central focus is the drum, and then we have the King of Water and the Seven of Water. So one thing it tells you is that it is a lot about emotions because we have 2 water sign cards. And I love this King of Water. He looks like so much like Lord Neptune to me, like the Neptune, the elemental being who is the head of actually the water element. Anyhow, they're fairly simple, and the nice thing in the guidebook is, let me get to the King of Water since we're, so just so you can see, for the King of Water, there's a fairly short message, and the messages are a positive, you could say, kind of like positive psychology. And so it's very easy if you know absolutely nothing about the tarot just to read the message. It has some keywords: generous, diplomatic, fair. It's describing personality kind of qualities, a good listener. So the King of Water could refer to you or someone you know. And it says, I honor and respect all beings, including myself. And if you're looking at this, is referring to you, and see all the commonalities we share in the spirit that is in all of us. I listen to other voices and blend them with my own wisdom before settling on an option, making a decision, or taking an action. I generally and lovingly lead others away from fear and divisiveness and into harmonious collaboration. So just by looking at the image, if it has meaning for you, some of them are fairly abstract and I don't fully understand what they're about. And it doesn't, that's one thing, it doesn't explain in the deck what the meaning of the imagery is. But you're just, with any reading, the way I look at it is you're looking for an aha. Like, what is it about that description that resonates with you? Is it like, well, is this something that I'm embracing and I need to embrace it more? Or is it something maybe I need more of? Or just to know what it is in your case. But this is something I love about the deck, that it's so easy to read. And I think these two are just beautiful together too, which always for me, I just love things that have that kind of beauty. So with that in mind, it makes doing these readings, these 3-card readings, pretty easy. And that we use a similar approach with the mystical shaman, looking in the guidebook for what really feels right, or the image. And with that aha, it might just be in the image, like the seeing Neptune there, and just that strong connection with water, with the water element, with your emotions, and maybe having a sense of higher emotions, which you would kind of look at with a king of a center, or a king of a I'm sorry, the dogs. When the cards. You just watch for what's meaningful to you. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Another thing, just to mention it for those who may not be familiar with Tarot versus Oracle, like what's the distinction and why would we want to use one versus the other? They both have positives. The Tarot is generally, it's based on a system. So the cards are based on a system, and there are several different systems, but the main one, as I've mentioned, is the Rider-Waite system. That has descriptions, general kind of a sense of what different cards are, like the 7 of Water. And of course, people interpret it for themselves, but it's showing different options. And the 7s are really about bringing things more into harmony with who you really are. So taking a closer look at things and making a decision moving forward that is more in tune or in sync with your true nature. So looking at that card, that would be kind of where I would start, that is with my understanding of the general symbolism. And I would read what's in the deck also, because they all have their own interpretations, which is interesting too. All of the different decks. And that's I think a good reason to get to know different decks, because you'll receive more insights, and I think it broadens your understanding of the cards. With the Oracle cards, their strength is kind of the opposite. The nice thing, or one of the great things about the Oracle cards, is that when you draw a card, there is no system connected with it. In other words, it's like a free agent. So, and I'm going to go back to my other camera here. So it's like that card is free to be anything. There are no attached meanings with any of the cards. And so you could say, well, there are advantages to the system because also you develop a relationship with them. Like I think I have a relationship with the 7 of water or the 7 of cups because I interpret it in a certain way as honing in on what really is your purpose so that you're moving forward in a more purposeful way. Other people might have a slightly different understanding, but it is when I see the card, then that's the first thing that I'm thinking of. And then with the drum card, I'm actually not sure at all what it's about right now. It's not a card that I happen to know a lot about. So it's completely open in my mind. So any comments or questions about the cards that we're using and why we're using them?
I just wanted to say I didn't really touch my decks until yesterday, and I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it purposely, and I wanted to have time to go through them. And I was kind of curious what made you choose certain decks for this course. And I just think they're great. I just like how approachable they are. And that I did a reading with the shaman, the mystical oracle, the shaman
mystical
oracle.
Shaman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was great. I really connected to that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. I just wanted to not that you need my compliment, but I really enjoyed them.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it is. I want to know, I think Philip and I both want to know how people feel about the different cards because why we recommend them. I think with these, we do recommend cards that we feel have some consciousness behind them that have value because of that. And this one, we're wanting both to have things that are readable and also things that might identify areas that you'd want to explore in the records that are looking deeper. And then you see, oh, wow, that just brings something up. I know that I need to now go to the records for this. So there is that combination of things that we're looking at. In addition to, I think one reason for the good tarot right now is because it's so simple. So that you don't like overwhelm yourself. Well, now I have to learn the tarot too, which is really almost a lifelong journey. People talk about it who have been using it. I've been using them, well, on and off for quite a few years. I think more in the last 5 years or so. And I continue to learn and appreciate also the different variations on them, which is another reason why we use different decks. Some people say, well, why don't we just use one deck? I think that for one thing, you'll find decks maybe that appeal to you more or that are the right deck for a specific reading like we were talking about. And also with the tarot in the 3 courses, we use different decks that have different strengths so that while you're going through the different courses, you're also learning the tarot from different angles. So this one, you're learning, it's a very easy approach to the tarot. And we don't talk that much about learning the tarot because we have the Akashic records in this course. And we want people to be able to focus on that too and not think, well, gosh, this is really ridiculous. I can't do all of this. Anyhow, does that make sense? Because in the next course, we have completely different approaches to the tarot that help to broaden your perspective on it. And with each one, I think we build depth of understanding of the cards. I'm curious if there's anyone here who has been using the tarot for a while now and has any comments on all of that, just developing that connection with the symbolism. Anybody?
I get affirmed because you choosing all the decks that I have. So.
Well, that's good. That's good too. Yeah. And I think the Akashic Tarot, I think it's unique in its connection with the Akashic records, although it took me a couple of years to understand how it related to the Akashic records because I would see the cards and it would say that it's supposed to somehow relate, and I just couldn't. It didn't hit. I just didn't quite get it. And they do talk about the Akashic field. Another thing that I think is a strength in this deck, and this is a really beautiful example. This card is the Journey, and it shows this being in this harbor, kind of suggesting that things are coming and going, you know, kind of where are you on that journey? So this is a deck where I think you can really go into, actually imagine yourself in that card and just allow a story to play out. Like where are you in this environment? What does this environment specifically mean to you? And then that might evoke something related to the records. Another thing, like I suggested, I think earlier, is just to draw a card and ask for a card that will give you something to explore in the records. So that's another thing. But I think, and that's this one, I think with all of the, like here's another one, paths unknown. You know, you can go in and just imagine yourself on that path. Well, where are you? You know, what's happening to you in this environment? And I've had amazing things happen. It's like stories start to unfold and I had no idea. I remember one time I was looking at a card and it was talking about stormy seas, and it wasn't actually with this deck, it was another one. And I was thinking, oh gosh, I was feeling pretty good before I started this reading, and now it's like stormy seas. And so I went into the image, and it was actually on a beach and with the water there, and it was very stormy. So I went in to imagine myself there on the beach, and I was looking around, and there were all these people who were caught in the stormy water, and they were all calling for help. And and what I realized is that the reason I got it was to confirm that I'm here to help people who are experiencing those kind of stormy, they're in the stormy waters. And so I was helping them out, and it became this really magical kind of thing. So, and it was completely different than my brain would say, well, what's this about? You know, and I don't know about everybody else.
I love that, Jane. I love
Oh,
that.
do you?
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
because if
way,
you don't
yeah, like
understand
it can be so completely different to what,
right.
you know, you can think, oh, it's negative, but like actually, no, you know, it wasn't negative at all. It was actually really
Right.
beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And none of them actually are negative.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in stormy seas, it's telling you can get out of this. You know, if you go in, you can ask yourself, well, if I go in here, I want to be told or shown how I can get out of this storminess. Because if you're getting stormy seas, to me, and this is also the way you set up your understanding of the cards, if I get that and it's about me, then I'm being told that I have the power to do this. I have the power to get out of this.
Yeah. You
and
have
to
the power
focus on that, not being
to
caught
stop the storm.
like I'm going to drown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's another part of it. If we're really looking at it from a spiritual perspective, we're seeing that each one is providing some kind of an opportunity to us. And again, as with that one Stormy Seas card, sometimes I'll just draw a card and I'll turn it over and I'll look at it, and right away I'll get this intuitive insight on what it is for me, and then I'll read in the guidebook and it's something completely different. And I think that, again, go with the aha. It's like, oh, it's okay that it doesn't mean those things. It's telling you just by looking at this image and maybe seeing the word on the card, it's telling you the message. And don't feel like the other part has to make any sense. Maybe it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So it's a very creative and very intuitive kind of a process that really is helpful for developing your intuition, of course. So anything else on that? Ashley, you're turning into light over here.
This time of day really just brings out my crown chakra over here. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to be the goddess that I believe that I am. The sunset's right over here. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. That's gorgeous. Okay, so what I wanted to do then next is talk about 3-card readings. And anyone who's been around us for a while knows how crazy I am about 3-card readings. I think in this course, we do try to keep the readings short. We have in some of the other courses, we have longer readings, in other words, readings with more cards. And we want in this one to keep them simple. And 3-card readings are kind of magical. We talk about it in our oracles, in the readings guide. In this course, many of the readings have 3 cards. This is done for a reason. In numerology, 3 is an expansive number. Some even call it magical. By nature, 3 is creative, bringing 2 opposites together and opening doors to more options. So if you look at numerology, 1 and 2 are just the beginning. They don't actually give you the answer necessarily. It's the 3 that really takes you to a fuller understanding of things. The number 3 tends to raise awareness of new ideas, possibilities, and opportunities. And a lot of, if you look at AI or look it up on the internet, it's often mentioned that in advertising or writing, that talking in language of 3 is it's often done because it's so effective. It's kind of like joy, love, and harmony. All of these things are good for us. Joy and love, all of these things are good for us. The 3rd one just adds something else when you have 3 rather than 2. Or if you have too many, joy, love, harmony, peace, and diplomacy are so meaningful in my life. It's almost like it's too much. It's too much to absorb in kind of one sitting, you might say. So 3, there is something very special about 3. And having 3 cards in a reading is really great. We also, and I'm going to show you, I have to bring it up here. I want to show you, I have another monitor here. That's why I'm not deviating. I'm trying to find, let's see here, I think. Okay, I'm going to show you this 3 cards reading diagram, which is on your resource page under lab 3, under where the recording will be with this. And I'm going to share this with you so you can get a sense of it. Okay, so you should be seeing, can you see that? It's funny because they don't show me the same thing. Okay, so the 3 cards reading diagram, and usually I look at them horizontal with kind of like I suggested in just drawing those 3 cards. The first card is often in the middle, and it's the central focus, or it could be a situation like central focus. On the left, what to release, what to embrace on the right. Situation on the left, do, on the right, don't do. Another favorite one of mine, I'm not sure it even is, oh, this is it. Central focus, what you need to know and what you can do with it. Problem, solution, how to get there. And all of these there's so many things you could do. Here's one that you commonly see in decks of cards is present, past, and future, which I think it's okay. One of the things I think that's really important about it is to know what you want to know about the past. Is it the things that you've left behind? Is it the things that from the past, the strengths that you brought forward into the present? All of those things you want to have as clear as possible in your mind. And the future, is that like the best potential future, or what might happen if you follow what was in the past. And when I started doing a lot of readings, all those kinds of questions would come up in my mind, at least. Like, what is it actually telling me? So you want to know in your mind what that is. And then you could have a vertical reading, like the central focus would be the middle card, and then you'd have a card above it for what's coming down from above to support you with this central focus. And then below might be how that's going to go out into the world. So again, you want to understand for yourself what it means. I kind of like this one, the present, a portal or gateway, something that's coming into your reality from above, and then below, how to integrate it. Central focus, inspiration and game changer. Inspiration above, game changer, how it's going to change your life below. Anyhow, you have this, which you can print out and use in many different ways. We do have a little bit of information in your readings guide. I think on page 10, it goes into 3-card readings, and there are a few options, but this one has a lot more. And it's not to say even that it's complete. So I'm going to stop the share now. This is not a complete list. You can make up what's on the left and the right. Or another thing that I often do is I just let them speak for themselves. I have the central focus and then 2 cards that are going to support this, and let them tell me how they're going to support it. So I can do a demonstration. So we're going to then start with Melanie, right? Was it Melanie? Yeah.
Lucia.
Yeah. Lucia, you were the one. you moved on my screen. I thought I'm confused. Yeah. So Lucia, you were the one. So I can do a demonstration, and from there, we can have you go into groups if you want, or I could do more readings, just demonstrate more options. So it's really, the time is for you. I do want to do certainly one demonstration. And I'm just putting these cards back together here. And of course, before you decide on which of those different options you would choose, then you want to have a very clear intention for the reading itself. So for Lucia, what we want is insights on why sometimes why you're not getting anywhere once you get into the records. Okay, and I'm going to just write this down. And what I would actually suggest as a 3-card reading is what you need to know and what you need to do. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Another thing about this is you can even add more. I mean, you could turn it into a 5-card reading with more questions. We'll just see where this goes to start. So my thought is to start with the mystical shaman for the central focus. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm doing a little shuffling. I'm going to just go to the other screen here. One thing I would say about the Hay House decks, and a lot of the ones we recommend are Hay House because I love them so much, but they are not the best shufflers. If you like to riffle shuffle, like go through and shuffle them like this, they don't do it that well. You can do an overhand kind of a shuffle or combine them in any way you want. So another thing I do also And I just change the back to me for a moment, because I think I found this to be really helpful. Before I start a reading, I hold the deck to my heart and ask it to do whatever is it for my highest good, and with the client for our highest good, for your highest good, just to make it heart centered. And I really feel, I guess it brings me to that place, and I would suggest for you too, to be in that place of wanting to receive what is in your highest good. Because it centers you. So I've got it all shuffled. I'll go back here. And sometimes I just fan them out. Sometimes I split the deck and just pick the next one. I like it kind of sometimes when it's just one card, I'll see where my hand wants to go. And these also tend to stick together a little bit. And this seems to be the one that I'm sensing here. So the card is called the Gatherer, which is interesting. We'll see what the Gatherer is about. And again, for Lucia, my intention is not to tell her. I think what I want is for her to listen, to look at the image and listen to the message and tell me what she gets. And then we can have a conversation. I think it's fine if you're reading for someone to give ideas, but you don't want them to get the impression that you're claiming to be their truth, because you want them to understand that they are the truth for themselves. Okay, so we have the Gatherer. Before we cultivated grains, we collected the wild bounty of nature. The Gatherer finds abundant seeds, nuts, and berries, and wild greens. So we have 4 things, where the ordinary person sees only barren soil. The Gatherer is the provider, the forager, and the gardener who collects roots and vegetables for the long winter when game is scarce. She does not hoard, trusting the bounty around her. The invitation, and what it has 2 sections, invitation and medicine. Medicine would be if it's reversed. In other words, if you feel you're blocked. And we'll start with the invitation. Look at the resources you already have close at hand. This is a time of abundance. Everything around you is ripe and ready for harvest. Banish the notions of scarcity that have limited your choices and colored your destiny. Pack your food for the winter and start with low-hanging fruit that is all around you. So it's offering you this opportunity. Does that resonate with anything for you, Lucia?
Yeah, because I do think sometimes my thoughts get in the way because I get frustrated and I start thinking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're saying, look at your resources, from what you're saying, what I'm getting is to follow your intuition and not let your rational mind block it, because that is really what you're wanting from the records, is to open to that intuitive awareness of what's coming to you from the higher dimensions.
Yeah.
So does that feel like what it's telling you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Good. Anything else? It doesn't have to be anything else. I'm just offering that as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I wonder if, I should gather all the knowledge that I acquired so far and just, if just a message to that, I should try and use it now and not just keep acquiring knowledge.
Well, let's see. What do you want me to draw the other cards? What you
Sure.
need to know and what
Yeah.
what you need to
Yeah.
do. So this is, so I did some shuffling. I think I'll just go a couple times here. And we'll end up here. So need to know the Tower. So are you familiar with the tarot?
Not so much, but I do believe Tower means challenges, or is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll read what it says. The Tower, and this is positive psychology, surprises, which is a good thing. You know, some things happen that are unexpected. Things happen really fast when this card is shown or shows up in a reading. Its appearance could portend a total paradigm shift or a sudden upheaval that takes something away in order for something better to take its place. It could be that you've had an epiphany. Whatever it is, this card tells you to expect events will be very interesting and offer opportunities for positive transformation if you remain present with your eyes open.
Okay.
Does that speak to you in any way?
Yes. Yes. So yeah. I mean, I've always had this feeling, okay, now it's gonna open up, it's gonna go, you know, it's the time that things that I get some understanding. But then, I mean, I think it and then nothing happens. So
well, you're that's like a premonition. Almost like you create your own reality. I think it makes sense. What you're talking about is you have an opportunity for a paradigm shift. And the important thing, it feels to me anyhow, is to not block that, because you just had an idea of how you could get more. And you're already telling yourself, well, maybe that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, I tell myself that, and then nothing happens. And we can talk about when we get all the cards drawn, kind of, as Deborah was suggesting too, we might be able to talk about some strategies too to keep you focused on the intuitive side and not let your, and just knowing that that happens. It's like it's kind of like you've identified what's blocking you, which is generally what blocks people. So, okay, so what to do? And the card here is 7 of Air, which is beautiful. Looks like an angel with some geese around it. So I'm going to read this one for you. 7 of Air, the keywords are independence, nonconformity, living life on one's own terms without people pleasing. Now is the time for me, or you, now is the time for you to live life on your own terms. So you must find the courage to reject conformity, which is, and that's the left brain is very much about conformity with the rules that it's telling you about. Listening to your yearning for independence is the key to breaking free of groupthink and attending to your own needs. Diplomacy with others can help you, etc. My call is to do what I know I must do for myself. So it is kind of, well, go ahead. Tell me what you're getting from
that. When I think of Air, I think of new ideas and new way of thinking. Yeah. And 7 is a high number, so I guess it's a number of connection.
Yeah, I think what I mentioned it earlier, the number 7, it's really like having achieved success on a certain level, but then you're moving into a new phase of being more true to who you really are in your thinking. So in this case, with your thinking. So the 7, it's like honing in and eliminating, eliminating those things that don't really apply to who you are.
Yeah.
Independence, nonconformity, having life on one's own terms.
Yeah.
Without all the rules, that we've learned for our whole lives, maybe.
Yeah, and it's hard because sometimes I don't even know why I think certain things, but I feel them. Like, for instance, today I felt so depressed, so sad, and yes, not without the reason, but not a specific reason really to be like that. And so sometimes I wonder if all these feelings that I get and all these thoughts that I have are really mine, or just, it's like when people are bombarded by, things that.
Right. And we all have natural inclinations. Some of us tend to be more left-brained, which I came from a very left-brained place. I was an architect earlier in life, and never thought I could change any of that. But to me, at least, looking at this reading, it's telling you to connect more with what your heart is telling you, not your head, and make that distinction, open to the truth in your heart. And the thing in terms of strategy, like Deborah was talking about strategies, something that I did early on when I was connecting with my heart is I would ask a question, like if you went into the records and you ask a question, just start writing out free writing, and allow the story to come out on paper. Okay. Or just make up a story. Just from there, just allow yourself, your creative mind, to make up a story and see if that afterwards, if it resonates as true. Just try experimenting with things you maybe never would have done before, and allowing yourself to just be creative and free flowing. What do you think of that?
Yes. I have to learn it. It's hard for me.
Yeah. And I think we all go through it. And if you are a person who tends to be left-brained, it's not that there's anything wrong with that. What we want to do is open our hearts and bring our hearts and head into harmony. So we have to start allowing the heart to speak. I noticed Deborah added a little message here. There is a really good book, The Empath Survival Guide. Do you want to share just a few thoughts about that, Deborah?
Yeah, so I am definitely an empath, and I work with organizations during their transformation. So I can, if I'm not aware, I can take on everybody's emotions, which I realized actually the first time that I worked with Philip and Jane is I felt fine, but I was experiencing like all this emotion constantly. So this book helped me with skills to just be clear about what is mine and what is other people's stuff,
right?
And create a space for me, not just like taking on everybody else's energy or intuiting it constantly. And so so if you're not clear about whether you're an empath or not, or you have that same experience, then
I am
it's a great book.
Yeah. No, thank you. And that reminds me of the process that we recommend, that I think we started with in the introductory class, and then we did a more detailed version in the first class, the guided visualization. And part of it is removing energy that's not yours, getting yourself to a place where you're really clear and going up. So by the time you get to the records, you're just as clear as clear as the bell, you could say, as clear as you can be, and never to judge, that we're not perfect. But thank you, Deborah. That was really, I think that's really, it is important to know. And I'm finding myself with the craziness in the world right now. I'm trying to clear out my energy multiple times a day. We don't live in the middle of the city or anything either. We're in a small city, but not in the middle of it. But I still feel we're all exposed. Yeah, we're all exposed to this craziness. Of course, Lucia is in Italy. I'm sure it's different, but they probably have their own versions. So was that helpful, Lucia?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I think that was a really good question.
Jane?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Please, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no. I mean, part of I think with the lab, it's having a chance to interact and share. So.
Yeah. Deborah, I totally agree with you. I'm also an empath, very, very much so. And I used to have a big problem with that, because I didn't know how to, let's say, protect myself or shield my energy or ground myself and bring my energy back to me. And of course, I know you know, Jane, you're specialized in this, but what's really, really helped me, and I think Lucia may really help you as well, is EFT. It's incredible for grounding, and for the chakras as well. And and the chakras are really, really important for all of us in in terms of our connection to heaven and earth, and to ourselves. And but EFT is so brilliant for letting go of people pleasing and all these things we do as an empath, especially because we want everyone to be in harmony, we want everything to be harmonious, we want everyone to be happy, we want everyone to and it's just exhausting. And yeah, isn't it though? Isn't it? And but it's it's just really, really important, I think. And that's one of the reasons I love EFT as well, is because it really helps if you don't love yourself enough, or you need to love yourself more, and you need to know your own value and how important you are, and not that everyone else is more important than you are, because it's not true. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, because it's a phenomenal tool.
And we've done some EFT here, and that's why we present. We also did Violet Flame, and I personally I look at these things every day to be clearing myself. Also Archangel Michael is really great, just for grounding and protection and strength and so many things.
And you know what? I just love this. Oh, my thing's on. The angels and ancestors.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that one next.
Yeah,
because I think the connecting with those beings of light, that's another part of all of this that is so important. Yeah. So Ashley, did you have something you were?
Yes, I just wanted to give a little bit of a tip, I don't know, or a trick or something. Therapist Ashley coming through, brace yourself. So I oftentimes work with people as a therapist who have some really heavy stuff, and surprise, surprise, I also am an empath. So learning how to protect my own energy has been something in the past 10 years that I've had to get really good with. And we all have our days, things happen, and be gentle with yourself when you do. But something that I learned that I found helpful, and especially going out in public, if you go to the grocery store or something and you just I don't know, there's something about Walmart for me. I go into Walmart and I'm just I can't. I'm please, everybody, I need blinders on because I just want to get in and out. But I imagine myself in, pick your favorite color, whatever color is your favorite color, and imagine yourself in that color bubble. And with the intention of nothing can penetrate this bubble, nobody else's energy or anything like that. It stays out there and it cannot come in. And that can be kind of like an energetic barrier for you as well. Also, it's never a bad idea to have a therapist or a counselor or somebody who has knowledge and experience in working with like mental health stuff to help you work through some stuff. If there's any stuff that's there that maybe needs to be looked at a little bit, because we all, I mean, healing is just an ongoing journey. I'm sorry, the sun is just really.
Well, that's okay. It looks like you're just lighting up there.
It's okay.
Glowing.
Let your
Giving
inner
glowing.
goddess shine.
Like, just here, let's put a spotlight on her. Why not? That's a great idea.
Kind of like
Fantastic.
speaking with God, you know.
I mean, welcome. What can I say? But it really it's helped some remembering, like you said, what's yours and what's somebody else's. If you do feel that like that emotion or that and you can't put a finger on what it is, asking, is this mine? And journaling is always good too. So
yeah,
just a little bit.
We have, we have a whole coaching and healing program too that goes into a lot more depth with this kind, for the healing and the in-depth kind of healing too.
Yeah.
And we all need each other. I mean,
yes,
I think you should have the class list too. You can work with each other. I think the energy when there's more than one person trying to do something, it really helps to have someone with you.
Well, we were built for community for sure.
You're going into the records and other things. Yeah. So thank you, Ashley. I noticed, Consuelo, you also had your hand raised for.
I just was going to go back to the reading itself, and I really felt like it was an empowering reading for like Lucia and also this group in itself. It really seemed to be about us preparing for what lies ahead and recognizing that we're already at a place, we have prepared, and we're at a place where new things are coming, but we're here to prepare for it. And Lucia's here for that reason. And sometimes it's hard. It feels like a big task, and it can be really daunting. And it can make you feel sometimes a little powerless when we're going at it from this direction. But I think these cards validate the power that we have and the reasons that we're here. And I just want to share that with Lucia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's 5 after the top of the hour, whatever that is for you. You could have 20 minutes of going into groups, or we could stay together. So what would you prefer? I guess, any suggestions? Anyone? Preferences?
Stay together. This is going so well as a group.
I think so too, and I just wanted to be what you want. Is that good for people to stay together? Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Kind of the perfect size group, actually, to be interacting with each other.
Yeah, it's very nice, and I agree also with what Consuelo said. I think, and probably other people sensed it too. There's something I think in this reading for all of us, and regardless, even for me, I need to be reminded, because if you have also that left brain, that's wanting to say, no, this can't be right, I don't know if it ever goes away completely. We have these neural pathways, and they just keep going down the same ones. But I think we can learn when to listen and when not to. And what I like to tell my left brain when it's time to do a reading is, you can come in, you can talk all you want after this is done, because that's your time. When I'm in this process, I need to be opening, to what's happening intuitively. Yeah. Okay, so what I thought we could do under this kind of a circumstance is just do another one, and maybe we'll have a different 3-card combination. Is there anyone else who would like to have a reading? Ashley, you're going into the light again.
You know, some days I just, I'm trying over here. It's that time of year where I'm just all over the place. I'm sorry. I would love a
It's
reading.
okay. I mean, it's fine.
I would love a reading. There's a lot going on, and I would love to see what comes up.
Okay, so what
That'd be
is your
amazing.
intention for the reading? What is question or focus?
Well, I have the official grand opening of the Healing Center this weekend.
Wow, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm still kind of at this place where I'm trying to find I want to be out of my therapy job. Okay. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
I want to put more effort and energy into the center. So I guess that, like, I don't know what I need to do to get there, or if, like, I see my husband back here.
What is my next
what
step?
I need to do
or-
to get there, like what step I need to do to get there, or I don't know. I don't know what to do. If that makes sense.
So would you like, what is your next step?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. And do you have a deck preference? I think for the central focus, I would, well, I guess we only have one oracle. Maybe the mystical shaman or the Akashic Tarot.
You pick, Jane. I trust whatever comes up. You pick.
I'm still going with mystical shaman.
Sounds like a plan
This
to me.
this deck to me, I don't know if it's ever guided me wrong. It just feels like such a great help. So I'm just holding it here, asking for the best for Ashley's highest good, helping her with her next steps. And I'm going to then switch the camera. And here's this big bunch of cards again. Just one shuffle. And then I am going to I kind of like with one card just to do something like this and see where it wants to go, somewhere in here. Okay, so the central focus is the sweat lives. That's interesting. Let's see what that says. Just back over here. Number 54. Oh, I got the wrong book. It's not going to do it. The Sweat Lodge. The Sweat Lodge represents the womb of Mother Earth. Volcanic stones are heated in a fire outside, then brought to the lodge and placed in a shallow hole in the center. Participants sit in complete darkness around the red hot stones to sweat away old habits and beliefs and heal disease. When you return humbly to the womb of the mother, you are offered second chances. The invitation. This is a time to journey inward into the dark and hidden places of your soul to connect with ancient earth wisdom. You can also create a sacred and intimate space in the dark by lighting a candle. Observe what emerges and without judging it, invite it to bring you its gifts. You are being offered the opportunity to shed and heal from the aspects of your life you have outgrown. Do not worry that you will be consumed by the process. Does that bring anything to mind?
Oh yeah. You're being offered the opportunity to shed and heal from the aspects of your life you have outgrown. I feel very much like I've outgrown the clinical therapy world, for sure. Like 100% have outgrown it. I feel energetically drained when I do it. Yet when I do the more spiritual or energetic work, it feels very uplifting. I feel recharged. I feel really good. So definitely feel that. Yep.
Wonderful. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So then for the three cards, the one that strikes me is maybe a release and embrace, what to release on one side, what to embrace on the other side, or
yeah. Yep.
I mean, I don't know if you saw anything else do or don't do. I mean, they're release, embrace. Does that sound good?
Release, embrace sounds good.
I have a special thing we can do at the end too. So I'm very excited. I'm always excited about the reading.
I know, me too. I get it. I'm always excited. I'll have to tell
So
you about
we
my
have this
experience later, Jane,
pile
with the
of things.
Akashic records
Oh, okay.
with a client. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Yeah, the amazing things can happen. Okay, so release. And we have here the Good Tarot. The Moon, that's interesting. Let's see what this says. Are you familiar with the Tarot?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, so we go to... You may not see the workings of spirit in the invisible realms, but you know there is great activity behind the scenes. It's important to trust the mystery and remember that the material realm is an illusion. Current conditions are not necessarily a reflection of the truth of what's really going on in the present. Great opportunities lie in the shadow, awaiting the perfect time for illumination.
Release illusion. That's what I need to release. I don't know. Current conditions are not necessarily a effect. I guess that's more like getting stuck into only thinking about what it looks like to me. It's like the forest through the trees sort of thing. It's kind of like I'm only seeing part of the picture of what's in front of me. I'm not seeing everything else.
And it is, I think, it doesn't say that here, but as you probably know, the moon is also following your intuition, which I think you have been doing.
Yeah.
So it's releasing any blocks to something, release. That's the way I see it in a card.
Yeah.
So it is releasing any blocks that might, it's not releasing the illusion.
Right. Release the illusion of what I know.
Well, it might be if there is, well, no, that doesn't make sense, but anyhow, so any blocks, and it is to really moving forward in that kind of, it's kind of one of those liminal spaces. Really, yeah. I think the moon, so it's like a space between two realities. In the traditional tarot, it's like there are two pillars, or you're going through a gateway into something new.
Absolutely. It feels like very much divine timing. Great opportunities lie in the shadows, awaiting for the perfect time for illumination. And it may not be that, I'm illuminating them. I just have to wait and be patient and be ready to, move forward.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you sense anything that might hold you back from going through, like if you're going through a portal into a different reality, which is really what it would be, releasing the therapy world? Is there anything that you need to leave behind?
As far as the therapy world is a lot of like my stability right now. So it's like I can't really necessarily let go of the stability right now unless I have stuff coming in from the center and like all of that.
And there's divine timing to be.
Yeah, and it's
to
just
trust
like
in divine timing and not, not knowing that you're not the only one. Here that's orchestrating this shift.
Yep.
Well, let's see what we have for embrace that might help us too. Oh, this is a nice one. Transformation.
This is the third time this week that I've gotten this stupid transformation card, and I had a vision earlier this week of turning into a caterpillar, mushed into its little cocoon, and 2 times. I did a circle on Monday, and 2 times we just did readings for each other, and transformation came out.
So it says nothing remains the same, and I
It's the
need to
universe
accept
telling
that
you to
a
drop
life.
that job and move on into your new
You know,
life
I
already.
really want to. And my bills and rent that I now have for the center are also telling me otherwise. And I don't want to like jump and then I know it's so hard.
Right. Well, let's see. Nothing remains the same, and you need to accept that life evolves through cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. Now is the time of transition. Now is a time of transition as things are changing from one form to another. You need to allow this to happen for the highest good. You're called to let go of the old so you can welcome the new. It's really saying very much the same thing as this card.
It feels so much like it's just this push and pull where it's like I have to let go of this clinical therapy job in order to free up the time to do the things that I want to do. But then there's this like, oh, well, you have this space of time that you've got to make this much money in order to pay for these things. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna hit me when I least expect it, but it very much does feel like I've got to let something go in order to bring in this new thing. Because if I don't let it go, it's blocking me from being able to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want
to it may be just releasing all of your ideas about how it should happen and be in the flow. Sometimes I've been getting a card often like that idea of being in flow with life, like on this river, you're just flowing with rather than feeling like you have to fight it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like too that the opening for the center and this training that I'm doing is going to open a lot of doors. Literally, figuratively, and literally for me, and for everybody. And it's not going to be a thing that I'm going to have to necessarily stress about, but like the in between, like you were saying, is just really embrace the discomfort. Online contract work, Hope. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. I work for a company called ThriveWorks. So I'm doing a lot of virtual stuff, but I'm doing virtual stuff 3 days a week. And then I have my private practice, which is more of the spiritual sort of stuff. And I also have kids, and then I have to have childcare. And it's just like, I'm trying to juggle so many balls right now. And it's like, I feel like I'm going to drop it all. But yeah, I am doing the contract work. Thing is, I get paid double in my private practice and I get paid doing contract work. So I need to drop the contract work.
So the other thought I had, since this will be the last reading, and I want to just show you again the list of 3 card readings. So I assume you can see that now? We're at the vertical. One of the ones I love to do is really having something above and below, and what I really like is what's coming, from above that I'm bringing down to earth. Would you be interested in adding that?
Sorry, I muted myself. I said, yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the share. Because of the limited space, there's not room actually for an above and below. But I have this little deck. Are you familiar with the Tarot of Trees? Anybody? Oh, this is the cutest thing. These are it's all trees. Aww. It's a tarot. And I'm going to use it because it'll fit. But they are just so so whimsical and adorable. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Because I'll just kind of try to fit it more or less toward the top. And this is something I like. I like to add this to readings a lot of times. Another thing, if you're still wondering, because it seems like you were still wondering, is you can ask for a card for what might I be missing, which is kind of interesting. So for above, so what's coming down, we have the 8 of Pentacles.
Oh.
And the 8 of Pentacles really is about making use of your many gifts and talents, and just really honing in on what you're good at, in the 8 of Pentacles. I'll see what it says. This one, this little deck has a really beautiful guidebook too, with a lot of great information. I'm just going to read the kind of the top parts, so because we are limited with time here. See what it says. The Eight of Pentacles depicts a tangled winter forest with a path of pentacles leading up the hillside. The path has been carefully constructed to allow an easier climb up the hill in the slippery winter months. So you can see kind of the pentacles here. The Eight of Pentacles is about paying attention to details and being diligent in your work. It may signal the need to redouble your efforts on a project and keep your eyes focused on a goal. This card is about kind of sustained perseverance that you need to be successful. Paying attention to the details, following through carefully, and double checking everything.
Okay.
So, and it is about, it's kind of like the 8 is mastery. So
Can
it
I-
is
Can I
your,
share something?
yes,
too?
of course.
Just,
Yeah.
As just kind of, those woods are scary looking, right?
Right, but yeah.
You got the path, and the talent and the resources to get through that scary forest.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Looks cold too.
So what you're bringing down to earth is the Page of Swords, which is, I look at the pages as a new kind of, you could say, a youthful, inventive approach, because you're looking at bringing down all of the resources you have, and at the same time, as you're bringing it out, I think a lot of times I think of the pages as enlisting the magical child of the suit. So it's kind of like also freeing your thinking and keeping your spirits up. See what
Stay
it says.
positive.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're in a mushy cocoon, just stay positive.
Right. The Page of Swords holds a sword valiantly as the sun rises. Represents the ability to learn from past and use what is negative in your life for good. This is one of the most difficult lessons we face as humans, transmuting our past pain. Like all the pages, this card sends a message. I am thinking of it more, not so much, I don't think as much in relation to pain, but it is, it is an opportunity to really enlist divine thinking or higher thinking.
Yeah.
That's the way I would look at it. And the sun is rising here.
Yes, it is, as it is over here too.
But I think the cards are suggesting that there is a transformation occurring, and some perseverance is going to be required.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean,
yeah.
with anything, that's often the case.
Yeah. Okay.
So these cards,
Jean.
ideally, these cards would be above and below.
Sure.
But it also shows, how you can build a reading and kind of build your own combination of things.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And just remember, the sun is rising.
Sun is rising. It's coming.
Yes.
Coming. We're good. I will emerge from my cocoon as a beautiful butterfly.
Right. Well, you keep getting the same message, and that always means something.
No, I know. At some point, it gets a little bit annoying, and I'm like, okay, you don't have to hit me in the head with the frying pan anymore. Can we just move something forward?
Right. So anyone else, any insights on this reading?
I just think sometimes you need to ask the universe for what you need, whatever it is, to support you in that. So I'll give you a crazy example. I was in Singapore I knew I wanted to come back to the United States. I had not no financial, I had little financial resources to actually make the whole move back to the United States. And then a crazy thing happened in that my ex-husband bought a house for us. Now, my ex-husband and I were not necessarily like mutual pals. But that did happen, and then I was able to move back to the United States. And it's not something I would ever have asked for. He viewed it as an investment, and it just, happened. So I'm kind of a fan of just saying, okay, if you want me to do this, then support me in XYZ way. If that's an amount of money or whatever it is, because crazy things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
Yeah.
I know that whole entire thing with like this healing center, even like where I live, all synchronicities, all of it, every last bit of it. So I definitely do know that firsthand, ask and you shall receive. And sometimes it may not look the way you thought it was going to look, but it will look even better and it's going to work out.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. The
know.
sun is rising. The sun is rising on that new life. Well, and we had the transformation. It is like you said, you're in that cocoon.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yep.
think I feel the same way what Deborah was saying too. I think Philip and I have lived on just our mission and trusting in the divine to provide for 25 years now.
Yeah, and I'm over here like next week. Can
Right.
I? James over here like, wait, I'm just looking back. I've always
But it is,
had
I
what I
mean,
needed.
part of it is for me is kind of what Deborah suggested. If you're going to tell us, that this is okay, you do have to support us.
Right. Like,
You
I'm
know?
gonna need you guys to like, you want me to do this full time.
Right.
then I'm gonna need you to start bringing this money in chop because I got bills to pay. I love you guys. Like the practical world, it's not easy.
Right.
I do like the idea of being specific because my kids and I, we're often tardy to school. And I started saying, archangels, I would like to arrive at school at 8:11 this morning. And more often than not, it's on the dot. And I'll adjust the time. I'll choose different times. And sometimes I'm really pushing my luck to get there. And it's often. So I think being specific is really helpful. And I see light in some of those cards, even the path. I'm on my phone. But anyway, I thought I didn't see darkness when you said that. Although, of course, your thoughts are what matters here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 8 of Pentacles is not the most positive one I've seen. To me, it really is just saying persevere. Use the gifts that you have and continue on because you're almost there. 8 is close to being there too. It's not like you're at 2.
Yeah, listen, let's just almost there. We're almost there. We're almost
just
there.
keep going. Yeah, keep going. The sun is rising.
Yeah. 8 of Pentacles, looking at my little thing here, it says apprenticeship, repetitive tasks, and skill development. Can be represented by 8 of Pentacles according to like traditional stuff too. So I will keep that in mind.
Okay, so
I got one more. Just
oh,
a little.
go ahead. Yes, please.
Two things. So divine thinking, which, as Phil and Jane often say, everything is possible and miracles are happening now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the miracle is not that it's going to be a miracle for this to happen to you, but the miracle of you coming to all these people.
And I am so grateful, and it's already been absolutely amazing. And, abundance comes in many forms, and I'm just trusting like the bills are going to get paid, but like the amount of abundance of just gratitude and love that I feel when I can step into the role that I know that I'm meant to step into just feels so good. It feels so good. And that's why I just wanted to run and jump to it. And I'm like, just get rid of this other stuff. Go away.
Right. Well,
it'll work out.
in the flow with the divine.
Absolutely.
And I think Jane was saying this before. It's step by step, and that too is what that eight shows me, is a step at a time.
Stepping stones. Yeah, everything's just keep going.
Yeah.
I just went through. I'm having a new office on July 1st, and if you saw the steps, and I just stayed open to all the changes that happened, and it was 6 steps. It was synchronicity, just one after another, but only looking back, because if there's some of those, it was, what the hell is going on?
Right. Yeah. 8 is the infinity symbol too. So 8 is a pretty good card. I do want to say, I know we're probably going over a little bit, but this is the book that I like to use most, the Guided Tarot, for just basic tarot, and it's pretty positively charged. And I think, to me, it feels the interpretations feel right. So if you're wanting just a real basic tarot book, this is the one I would get. They also have it on Amazon for $12.95 or something, and you can get it with a deck of the Rider-Waite cards, which are good just to see. They're also in the book. I think it's just $2 more or something, which I think is kind of interesting. So I got the Rider-Waite. I don't ever do readings with it, but it does have, it has, the history and everything in it. Okay, so I guess we're done. It has been fun.
Yes, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you all. This has been really delightful. Okay, so next week we're going to continue on and take our next steps, class number 4. So I'll look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. So have a great week. And if anybody has anything else you want to talk about, I'll stay around for a few minutes now.
Jane, I gotta tell you something.
Okay.
So I have a client who is more spiritual, and did a meditation with them, Akashic Records meditation, and they'd never heard about the Akashic Records, didn't know anything really about it. They are spiritual, like believe in stuff and everything. And first round, they got into the Akashic Records. No problem. We talked through it, like talked about what he was seeing, all of that. Got some awesome insights. And then today we did it again. So they're trying to figure out like a little bit about where their path is going and where they're meant to be, because there's some conflict right now with like their work, where they're working, and like they just don't feel like it's aligned. It's falling away. So did another guided meditation into the Akashic Records. Jane, like, this guy was channeling what he was hearing. And I was like, do you realize what you just did? Like, this is wild. Like, you literally just channeled all. He's like, I've done this sort of thing before, but it wasn't like this. He's like, before it's like, sounds like it's just chatter in my head. This time it felt very much like it was like someone else. And I was like, yeah. And he doesn't know anything about the Akashic Records. And I walked him in there and I was like, do you see anybody? And he was like, I feel someone. I don't necessarily see them, but I definitely do feel them. And I was like, okay, I'll ask who it is. And he goes, the keeper of the records. And I'm like, you don't know anything about Akashic Records, and you just said the keeper of the records? What? Like, it was just amazing. It was an amazing experience. And whenever I explained it afterwards, it was just like, wow, that's cool. So it was just very, very interesting how it all worked out. And I've had somebody who reached out to me. I was tagged in a post. Somebody was asking about a past life reading. And I was tagged in it, and the person reached out to me, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do things. I'm not going to tell you what your past lives are, but I can walk you through it.
Right. Yeah.
Very much the like, teach a man to fish sort of like thought.
That's our approach.
So yeah, so they're gonna set up a time with me to do a meditation to see if we can get into the Akashic Records and they can get information that they're looking for.
Wonderful.
It's wild, Jane. some of this stuff's just wild.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
So thank you for this amazing gift that you are providing.
Oh, you're welcome. We love it.
Yes, I just had to share because I was excited, and not everybody's
that's
going to
great.
understand,
Yeah,
but
and
I
it
know you
is
will.
well, it is wonderful, I think, also to guide people into the records. I mean, so many people read the records, and then it becomes a lot of times like going to a psychic, and I just am really opposed to people giving their power away and then believing something, because believing something someone else told you is not at all the same.
Yes, they're the expert of their own lives, and
Right.
it's up, like, I want them to be able to trust themselves and lean into their own intuition, because we're
Right.
told so often that everybody else tells us what we should be or what we should do, and all
Right.
these narratives from when we were growing up and blah blah blah. Like, I want
Right.
you
Just
to lean
adding
into
more
who
to
you are.
that.
Yeah. Like, I want you to do this for yourself. Like, sure, if you need insight, like, find a trusted person who's going to lead you and help you find the answer, but like, don't put anybody else on a pedestal over yourself. And I've learned that myself, even in my spiritual journey, is to not put like somebody else on a pedestal over me. Because I mean, like, I've got to
Yeah.
find people
And
who you trust.
I think that that's a good way to evaluate if you're in the right place in, in a community, like
Yeah.
a spiritual community too, because if you really want, and I think that we have people here who are serious about their spiritual growth, ascension, light body activation, all of these things, just wanting to really evolve. None of that has to do with someone else telling you what the truth is.
Right.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's about embracing yourself and really opening your channels to receive. And I think for Lucia, it is, taking the risk. If you're doing it yourself and you're telling, just let yourself go and see if it makes sense or not. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's what I did, and it always made sense to me. And I think, well, Ashley, you and I have shared
There's
so
some
much
connection
about
there. Yeah, there is a connection
we
there,
have a
Jane. I don't know what.
very connected history.
Yeah,
and I keep
for
getting
sure.
more all the time still.
Yeah.
Are you connected with Venus at all? The Venusians?
I have probably, I don't know, Jane. Maybe we need to talk some more about the connections we have, and you can tell me what you got, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know it's there.
Yeah. It's exciting. It just keeps evolving for us. So yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. My little ones are feral, so
okay.
See you guys later. Bye. Thank you guys.
Okay. Bye. Or is everybody done? I guess so. Darsana, are you here? Okay, I guess